Welcome back to Country Conversations. My name is Joey, and as always, I'm joined by...
Hey man, it's Chris over here tonight. How's it going tonight, Joey?
It's going good, man. We have a very special guest on tonight, guys, Mr. Zach Top, who is a singer-songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee. Zach, thanks so much for coming on, man. How you doing?
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we're definitely excited to chat with you. How are things down in Nashville right now?
Oh, we're all just trying to avoid dying a heat stroke for the moment. But other than that, it's great.
I bet, man. Yeah, it's killer everywhere, I think. I'm in Ohio
Yeah.
myself, and we're roasting right now, so.
Okay, yeah. Where at in Ohio?
A little bit north of Cincinnati. I always say Cincinnati because no one ever knows, but it's a little bit north of Cincy.
Okay, great. Where are you at, Chris?
I'm actually over in Charleston, West Virginia. So I'm about
nice.
3.5, 4 hours from Joey and about 6 hours from Nashville.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. But awesome, man. If you want, we can just go ahead and jump right into it, man. So tell us a little bit about how you got into playing music, why you play music, a little bit about your background, just getting into being an artist.
Yeah, absolutely. It started early for me. There's pictures of me when I was 3, I believe, holding a little first act guitar upside down. I wanted to be the next George Strait. That's kind of the music I grew up on. A whole bunch of 90s, early 2000s George Strait and Tim McGraw and Alan Jackson, all that good stuff. And so that was what originally piqued my interest. Just wanted to do that more than anything. It's pretty interesting. I ended up the teacher we found to start teaching me guitar, a lady named Marie Parks. She was big in the bluegrass world, and that kind of started me on a whole bluegrass journey, and I've been doing that ever since. But my heart's always kind of been in country, so kind of working on breaking something through in the country world right now.
Most definitely, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. How long have you been in Nashville? And you're originally from where? Eastern Washington?
Yes, Eastern Washington. I've been in Nashville a year and a half now. But yeah, grew up in Eastern Washington, moved to Colorado when I was 17, and lived there for, I guess it was 5 or 6 years or something, and then been here ever since. So
That's quite a trek from Colorado to Nashville.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It sure is, man. I was reading over your bio section on your website and everything that you played in a few different bands growing up. Could you tell us a little bit about that and just what those experiences were like?
Yeah, absolutely. First one was family band. I've got 2 older sisters and then a younger brother. Joram is my brother, and then Maddie and Lakin are my sisters. And we had a little family band. Maddie started taking fiddle lessons at the same time I started playing guitar. And my oldest sister was a classically trained pianist, and she started playing bass once we started getting into the bluegrass thing. And then my little brother picked up the mandolin. So we had this little 4-piece bluegrass band. We played all the Grange halls and festivals and open mics and whatever we could get on that they wouldn't kick us off. We did that for, I guess it was, we started that band when I was 7, and I think we played our last show when I was 16, I believe. So that was my first band experience, and then shortly after that, we all kind of went our separate ways, just going to college. None of my other siblings really wanted to pursue it as a career. They're all super talented and probably could have if they wanted to, but I was the only one that wanted to keep doing it really seriously. But anyway, started in with a band that I'd known all these guys for a long time. They're from the Seattle area. And it's a band called North Country. They're still playing around and stuff. So played with them for, I guess 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years. And that was a great time, great friends there. And then toward the end of that run, I met a bunch of people kind of from out east here, Missouri, Tennessee, Indiana. Met them at the big IBMA, International Bluegrass Music Awards festival, and we started jamming together, and really liked how he sounded, and we actually ended up joining the entering the Spigma band competition, international band competition, and we won it the first year we tried it. And so we decided that was a good omen, and we ought to cut a record, and that's actually what I just released about a month ago is our debut project.
That's fantastic, man.
That's awesome. Where did you record it, and who was your producer?
We were in I guess it's Murfreesboro area. A guy named Brad Benge engineered it for us. It was out at Richard Smith's studio. He's real famous thumb style guitar player, Merle Travis kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was his studio. Brad Benge engineered it. It was kind of self produced. I had my producer in the country world. He got an executive producer credit on it. He sent me a whole bunch of songs and had a little bit of input, but it was, I guess, basically me that produced it for the most part.
Gosh, that's awesome. When you say your producer in the country world, is that Carson Chamberlain?
It is.
That's awesome, man. We were looking through your through the credits, and man, you've got some absolute heavy hitters on the writing credits on this album.
Oh, yeah, you know it. Yeah, I felt super fortunate. So right about the time we were going to start recording this project, it was right about the time I started talking to Carson. And that's a funny story, too, how I got hooked up with him, if you want to hear that. But
Absolutely,
for sure.
Sure. So, yeah, right about the time we were going to record this project was the time I started talking to Carson, and we were kind of talking about working together. And so I told him we had this Bluegrass project in the making, and asked him for some songs, and he sent me about 6 or 8 things, which, as you guys know those names, bunch of Hall of Famers and others, and Mark Nessler is a huge hit songwriter, and Carson is in his own right as well. And then Wyatt McCubbin was the other writer on 3 that we cut from him. He's become a real good friend of mine and just a phenomenal songwriter. So that was the writers there, and yeah, he sent some of them songs over, and I just loved them. Picked 3, and those were the first 3 singles we released.
That's awesome, man. I saw you had Ashley Gorley on one of them, and he's probably the number 1 songwriter in Nashville right now.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to resolve that issue. Ashley Gorley was not a writer on that song.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. He must have a deal with Spotify or something. They just throw his name on
Yeah,
some random stuff.
He's so big, his name's just on everything.
Exactly. No, he was not in the room on that. I've actually got my label working to clean that up right now. It's a pretty funny little thing.
That's awesome.
I got you, man. We just, between Carson and Wyatt, they've got connections with everybody in Nashville.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They're phenomenal. I feel really fortunate to be able to work with them and have recorded some songs of theirs.
I wonder if you know this or not, but the main reason that I know Wyatt McCubbin's name, there's a guy out of Texas who's one of my favorite artists right now, Josh Ward, and Wyatt McCubbin has wrote a ton of stuff for Josh, and so that's when I saw that name pop up, that's Josh is super traditional country, so Wyatt knows what he's doing when it comes to that.
Absolutely, yeah, I know Josh's music well for sure.
Yeah,
and
good stuff.
Yeah, Wyatt does that great.
Tell us about the Carson Chamberlain story. How'd you get connected to him?
So that was kind of funny. It started off. I had the day that Daryl Singletary passed away, who was one of my favorite singers. Mm-hmm. I recorded a little tribute video, covered his song "Spilled Whiskey," and just posted it on my Facebook. I'd posted some videos before on Facebook, and not with much regularity. Just if there's something I was feeling, I'd throw it on there. And I'd probably got 1,500 views or something on a video before this. Anyway, this this video kind of started taking off for me. It got picked up by a couple sites, one of them being Country Rebel. It ended up getting over 300,000 views for me. And Carson found me off that Country Rebel site. He kind of just keeps an eye on stuff they post. And he ended up finding me on there, tracked down my email, and sent me an email. It was funny with that video blowing up. I'd gotten a bunch of phone calls, a bunch of emails from some different producers and small time record labels. I think there's a publishing company in there too. And they had reached out and wanted to do some kind of deal with me, wanted to work with me, and none of it really felt right. And so I just kind of, I don't know, I got turned off of it a little bit. And so Carson's email came in after I'd already, sent a bunch of emails back and took a bunch of phone calls. And it was just like, oh, here we go, another one of the same, and just kind of skimmed over it and didn't do nothing with it. And about 2 weeks later, I was out playing a show in Washington, and my girlfriend, my wife now, but my girlfriend at the time, Kinsey, she called me and she was like, "Hey, you remember that guy Carson Chamberlain that emailed you?" I was like, "Name sounds familiar, I guess." And she's like, "I'm sending you a Wikipedia link right now. You're going to want to look at that, and maybe you want to send an email back to him." And
Yeah.
he hadn't said anything about himself. Hey, it's Carson Chamberlain. I've been working in the music business for a little while. I'm not much for tooting my own horn. You can kind of look me up and find out what you want to about me. I'd be interested in talking to you, maybe working together or something. And so I didn't, have anything to go off. But then my girlfriend Kinsey, she sent me that Wikipedia link, and I saw all the stuff, how he was, steel player for Whitley, who's probably my favorite singer out of all of them, and tour managed Alan Jackson and produced all these guys, Mark Wills, Billy Currington, Easton Corbin, all those guys. And I was like, oh my goodness, this guy's the real deal. And it was interesting because the way he approached it, he was much more kind of like the long game thing. Let's build a career out of this, not just, let's get you to town and cut a record and see what kind of money we can make on it. It was, we started talking on the phone a little bit, and he ended up he's got a place out in Colorado, close by where I was living at the time. And so he was making a trip out there in the summer anyway, and said, hey, maybe we can get together. So we did that, went and had dinner, and then I brought him back to my messy old college house with all my roommates and played him some stuff, and we just sat around and hung out for a little while. And he's just a great guy. And that was one of the things that made me trust him a lot. He was like, hey, man, we're not definitely going to work together. We need to get together and see if we can be friends first, and then we can, figure out working together. It's going to be no fun for either of us if we don't get along and we're not looking for the same thing. So that was, I loved his approach, and it really made me feel comfortable and made me trust him a lot from the get-go. And it's been, 3 years now, I guess, over 3 years, something like that we've been working together, and it's been great.
That is an awesome story, man. The power of the internet, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I know it. I hate it, but
right.
I gotta love it for that kind of stuff. So
absolutely, man. Absolutely, that's awesome. So I mean, the project, it's been out for just a little over a month now. Collectively, is all 8 songs. What's that been like, putting out your first solo project? Like, how do you feel, putting out your first solo thing, and just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. It's been great. It's funny. This thing has been a long time coming. We recorded the project in 2018, or no, beginning of 2019, I believe. Shoot, I can't even remember. It might have been the beginning of 2018. And ended up, and Carson kind of helped me out. Had some friends in the bluegrass world that were running a label. Billy Droz and Chuck Floyd. They were running RBR Records, and so he was like, "Hey, man, I don't know if you'd be interested in a label deal at all, but I could send this stuff over to these guys and see if they'd be interested in doing a deal with you." And I was like, "Okay, I guess. You think that's a good idea? Is that a thing people do in the bluegrass world anyway?" Because I just didn't know. I was green.
Sure.
He was like, "Yeah, man, I think it'd be a good move. Maybe get a little radio play, and just get it out to more people." I'm like, "All right, well, we'll see what they have to say." And so ended up, we kind of haggled back and forth with them for a little while on a contract and all this kind of stuff, and they were very fair. It was a great deal, and so signed with RBR Entertainment, and then ended up, we put out In a World Gone Wrong in 2019, I believe, and then kind of hit pause with all the COVID stuff. We ended up, and In a World Gone Wrong did great. I was floored. Being my debut single and whatnot, it ended up being a #4 record on the Bluegrass charts.
Nice.
So I was really excited about that. Blew me away. And then all the COVID stuff happened. We weren't going to be able to play shows or tour, any of that stuff. So we were kind of like, what's the point of putting out songs if we're not going to tour off them? So we kind of hit pause for a while there, and then ended up putting out the second single, "I Don't Mind," later in 2021. I guess about fall of 2021, we got the second single out, and I love that song. That one did great on all the streaming platforms and all that too. That one didn't actually chart, I don't think, but did that, and then the third single was "Like It Ain't No Thing." Released that just this last January, 2022, and that was my first #1 record, which was really exciting. I got to be very grateful to Kyle Cantrell over at Sirius XM Bluegrass Junction, and Terry Hurd with the Into the Blue radio show. They were very good to me, and I appreciate them a lot.
That's fantastic, man. So, as an artist, I'm sure all of these songs are special to you. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
creating them, bringing them to life, and putting them into the world. But if you had to pick one song off the project, which one would you say is most special to you and why?
Man, I'd probably say it'd probably be "In a World Gone Wrong." It was kind of a funny, it for one thing seemed like such a fitting song for the time. You're the only thing that's gone right in the world gone wrong.
Yeah.
The world was falling to pieces around us, and it's just a
Amen.
pretty little love song, and I love that one. It was funny. That was an interesting one too, because we kind of that was that was on the edge of the cut list when we were recording. That was the last song we recorded. Actually, we had a few other things on deck. We went and cut all these 8 songs in one day,
Wow.
and got to the end of the day, had 7 done, and weren't sure about this song. And I like, well, let's just go in and do a take on it, and see how it comes out. And we we went in there and played it, and the engineer come on the talkback mic after we got done with the first take, and he was like, "I smell a first single here." And anyway, it was kind of, when it came together, it was pretty magic. Everybody loved it, and it seemed real meant to be, and just loved the song, and ever since then, and it was just great.
Absolutely, man. I will say that's
Yeah,
probably
man.
my favorite off the project as well. So
Yeah,
that's
me too.
That's awesome.
For
I
sure.
appreciate that.
absolutely, man. And
Yeah.
just the whole project, man. The production, obviously, your vocal, everything is just top notch. It sounds amazing. So
I really
yeah,
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it really
I
absolutely,
does.
gotta,
man.
before we go too much further, I want to plug them, the folks that played on it too. Wyatt Harmon played bass, Maddie Denton played fiddle and sang harmonies, and Caleb Smith played banjo, sang harmony, and Zion Napier played mandolin. That's they're awesome. That's the band that we play shows with and whatnot. Maddie's gone on to, she's playing with Dan Tominski now. She's doing great. And these other guys, Zion and Caleb, play with this other fellow named Caleb Doherty, who I'm a big fan of. And they're just all phenomenal musicians, and had a blast cutting this project with them.
Man, that's awesome. If you're in the bluegrass world and you're playing with Dan Tominski, you're doing something right.
Exactly. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
killing
yeah,
it.
absolutely. I guess my biggest question, sitting here talking to you and reading about you and listening to the music is, you've got a ton of country influence. You've got the bluegrass influence. You made a bluegrass record, but you have a
Hmm.
relationship with a country producer, and you know, Joey and I have talked all week about, gosh, when we listen to you, I mean, Whitley and Randy Travis and Ricky Skaggs, or those are the names that
Yep.
come to mind whenever
Hmm.
you hear the music and hear your voice. So I mean, are you going to try to straddle both fences? I mean, what's kind of the plan?
Plan is we've actually got some. We've got a little EP recorded, a straight country thing. It's definitely, I love the bluegrass stuff, so it's got a little bluegrass influence in there. But
Yeah,
it's definitely much more commercial mainstream country. Well, commercial mainstream country as we knew it in the '90s, kind of. Um,
that's
Right,
right.
right.
that kind of
The
stuff.
good stuff.
That's just, yeah, that's just what I love, and I won't knock what anybody else is doing, but that's what I love. So that's what I
Sure.
wanted to do. We recorded, yeah, 5 songs, and I've actually got my, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not yet, but I've got my first single coming out July 22nd, actually.
Nice.
Oh
Um,
man,
and
that's
so I'm
soon.
I'm pumped about that. Yeah, I know it. I know it. Gonna start.
Breaking news, it sounds like. You guys may have
Yeah,
heard it here
this is
first.
the yeah, the first spot I've said it on the internet for sure. So, but yeah, so I'm definitely, that's my goal is we're gonna, shoot for a big old classic country music career, um, and pay homage to the bluegrass stuff in some of these songs and whatnot. But it's definitely just straight country.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, I mean, for Whitley and Ricky Skaggs, that's exactly what they did. I mean, they played bluegrass for
Exactly.
years before they jumped over and had the country stuff. So, I mean, you just blend it
Yeah.
together and use that authentic voice, and I think you're on your way.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, those guys are some of my favorites. So, yeah, if I can follow anywhere close in their footsteps, I'll be a happy man.
That's
That's right.
right. That's right, man. So obviously, music takes up a big part of your life, man. That's no question. But what are some of
Yeah.
your hobbies or interests outside of music?
Well, as for interest, I guess, I mean, I've worked construction for the last 5 years, outside of doing music, so I do a fair bit of that. I'm flipping a house up in Northwest Nashville right now, and trying to get done with that. And once I can get out of that, sell it, and at that point, I will lay the hammer down for the last time, hopefully,
Hmm.
and just be doing music full time. That's not a hobby, obviously, but I golf a fair bit, and my wife is she's real into horseback riding and stuff like that. So we do a little bit of that, and you know, I don't know if I have any other real serious hobbies
Sure.
other than golf. So.
Golf, man. I've never been good at it ever.
Me
Well,
either. Me
I ain't
either.
saying I'm good at it either. I just do it a lot and I like it.
It's fun. It is fun. But I'm
Absolutely.
terrible, man. I can't. No good. But it is fun.
I love it and I hate it. It's
That's
oof.
right, man. Have you caught any good shows since the pandemic has kind of allowed everybody to get back to playing? Have you seen any good concerts?
Yeah, I actually, let's see here. I've seen, uh honestly, some of my favorite shows are some of these underground bars in Nashville. Well, they're not underground. They're not the Broadway bars. Stuff over in Music Valley, Music City Bar and Grill, and Scoreboard and stuff like that. And then this other bar called the Local. The Local has been awesome. I we just stumbled in there one night. There's a band called Organic Country, and it's a bunch of ridiculously talented musicians. They've been session players, and the guitar player, played out on the road with Randy Travis. So the steel player, Joe Spivey is the fiddle player. He played on Sticks and Stones with Tracy Lawrence and
Mm.
Seminole Wind, John Anderson. He played on those records.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and then and drummers Greg Cole and Jeff Gibson is bass player, phenomenally talented guys. And then Kevin Denny is the lead singer on that band. They play
Are
every
you
Saturday
are you
night at the
serious?
local.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah,
my
buddy.
gosh.
Yeah,
That's
and
just Jesse is my fiance's favorite song of all time.
man, I love Kevin. He's awesome, so friggin' talented, and it's just this little bar, and we go in there and hear world class music on Saturday night, and there's 75 other people in there listening to it, and anyway, I was able to meet Kevin actually too a little while back, and kind of become buddies with him, and we've written a couple songs with him, and that's been great. Anyway, that's always a great show. And then I go over and see Tim Culpepper or something at Music City Bar and Grill. He'll always have a great band with him. That's good stuff. But actually, I'm real excited. I'm about to go see Brooks and Dunn on Saturday here
There you go.
at Bridgestone in Nashville. So I'm
Boom.
pumped about that. That'll be great.
Yeah, that'll be good. They're in Charleston next Thursday, so
Oh
I'll be
heck
there
yeah! Are
for
you
that
going
one.
to see him?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't miss them for the world.
Awesome.
then,
Awesome.
then we're
I
seeing
love
them
it.
again next month at
Yeah,
that
yeah,
big
Joey and I.
country concert festival up in Fort Loramie, Ohio.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah, they're playing Friday night. Cody Johnson's on, then Brooks and Dunn, so that should
Yep.
be a really good show.
That'll be awesome. Old Kojo puts on a heck of a show too.
Man,
he
it's
does.
unreal. The dude is just insane. So good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. I actually seen Brooks and Dunn out in Vegas. I guess that was 2018, so that was pre the end of the world. But it was a great show. Saw him at Caesars out there. A buddy of mine and I went out. We actually saw George Strait Friday night, and then Brooks and Dunn Saturday night.
Man.
So that was one of the. My wife got me a trip out there as a birthday present. I think that was my 21st birthday actually.
Man.
Oh man,
She got me.
You was Reba was Reba with them that night?
She was. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
what
an
a
all-timer
show.
weekend right there, man.
Yeah, you're telling me. It was pretty awesome.
Fantastic.
That's awesome, man. Since we're talking about shows, kind of clue us in what you've got on your schedule coming up through the summer. You going to be playing a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've already played a bunch of shows this spring and stuff. But July is going to be real busy for me. I'll be out in Youngsville, North Carolina at Bud's Tavern on July 8th. That's Friday. And then July 9th out at Heiss Hollow. This fellow named Alex Heiss, a bunch of his friends, they throw a big old party, get a bunch of folks out there. Actually, Wyatt McCubbin's going to be on that show with me. We're playing there Saturday, July 9th. And then after that, I've got actually a run out to the Northwest. I'll be playing the OK Theater in Enterprise, Oregon, one of my favorite venues. And then Darrington Bluegrass Festival that weekend. That'll be July 15, 16, 17. And yeah, Darrington Bluegrass Festival up in Darrington, Washington. That'll be a great time. And then we got, I guess, nothing next weekend. And then last weekend of July, I'll be playing up in I forget the name of the town, but up in Indiana. It's kind of a private thing, and I got some more stuff coming up in August. Oh, actually, yeah, there's one cool weekend in August. August 12th, I'll be playing at the Monroe Theater in it's Wood something. I can't remember the name of the town off the top of my head. It's in Ohio. And then the 13th, I'll be playing up in New York. My first time in New York. At there's some kind of campground festival thing. We'll be playing up there Saturday, July 13th. So it'll be, and then a bunch more stuff coming up in the fall. That's all the stuff I can kind of rattle off the top of my head. But yeah, I'll be busy.
It's hard to keep it all straight, I'm sure. I was looking at the schedule, and it looks like in October you're going to play a farm festival about an hour from me that we go to every year. So
heck yeah, Bob Evans.
Yeah, Bob Evans. We literally, I've gone to that festival my entire life. So we will definitely be there that weekend.
Yeah, I look forward to meeting you in person. If we don't do it before then, we'll have to hang out there, have us a cold beer, and
That's right,
hang
man.
out. That'd be great.
Absolutely. It looked like you had a couple shows in Ohio coming up. So we might, I don't know how close they are to Joey's house, but if they're anywhere near Joey's house, we will be there for sure.
Well, does it say on there the one August 12th, the Monroe Theater? That looks like a great little venue. I've not been there before, but it looks like an awesome little venue. That's in Ohio. I can't remember the name of the town.
How I mean, what's the your? I guess you just you signed with a booking agent when you moved to town, or I mean, and they handle all the show. I mean, how does that work? I mean, like.
Oh man, I haven't done the booking agent thing yet. I'm booking it all on my own for now.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
I've got a fella named. Yeah. It's a lot of work. I'm starting talks with some booking agents now because it's a little too much
for as many shows as you have scheduled.
Full-time jobs.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you're in. Are you in Ohio at the Jamboree in the Hollow in Waterford, Ohio? Coming up in a couple weekends?
Yeah, that's July 9th. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you all out at the Bob Evans Festival. And hopefully come on out to Waterford. That'd be a good old time.
That would be.
It sounds like it's a big old party out there. And like I said, there's another guy, a real talented fella named Dan Alley.
I know Dan actually. Right, yeah,
awesome. Because he's
from
Ohio boy too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's from 20 minutes. He plays at my local bar all the time. I know Dan. I wouldn't say very well, but pretty well. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So it'll be
he's killer.
Him, me, and Wyatt will all be playing there on Saturday night. So it's going to be a big old time.
Oh man, I'll definitely have to come out for that for sure.
Heck yeah.
Man, that's a small world.
No kidding. Yeah. I know it. It's funny with how many, I don't know how many people there is in Nashville, 100,000 or something, trying to make a career in music. It does feel like, especially in this kind of those of us that are kind of real into the traditional country stuff, your world becomes kind of small with the guys that are doing, similar stuff to you. And I'm a big fan of all those guys. And it's fun to just be buds and try to be doing the same thing in the same town.
Amen to that, man.
Dan is awesome. God,
he is, yeah. Good really guy, too.
Guy.
Hey, do me a favor. Next time you see Dan, tell him that I am desperately wanting a recorded version of Wyoming. That's my favorite song of his.
Okay.
And he hasn't released it yet.
I'll let him know.
That's awesome.
Light a fire under his ass.
There you go. Right. Hell yeah.
That's right.
Sweet.
Gosh, I love that song.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to make it up there for that. But Zach, before we go, man,
I'd love to see you out there.
Oh, for sure, man. And we'll stay in touch. I'll keep in touch with you and let you know for sure. But yeah, dude, why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners where they can find you out on social media, where they can listen to your music and all that good stuff before we go tonight.
Absolutely. It's Zach Top on Instagram. Oh, maybe Zach _Top. I think my handle is actually Zach _Top, but you should be able to find me if you put in Zach Top on Instagram. Zach Top on TikTok, Zach Top Music on Facebook, all that good stuff. I don't tweet. I'm not a tweeter. But all that, and got all the music out on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your music. Got a record just out a month ago. Would love for everybody to go check it out. I think you're going to love it.
For sure, and I agree with that. You guys go check out that new album that he just put out. It's amazing. If you guys are into that traditional sound or just a good vocal period, go check it out. You won't be disappointed, that's for sure. And make sure you guys check out Zach's website and see where he's going to be at on the road. And if he's anywhere near you, go to a show. But
yeah, ZachTop.net is the website. That's the only other thing I should mention.
There you go. Go check it out. See if he's going to be in your area and catch a show, guys. But Zach, again, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate that. And it's been a really good conversation just chatting with you. And we're definitely rooting for you, man. So thank you again.
I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you, Joey and Chris. This was real fun, and looking forward to meeting you guys in person real soon.
Absolutely, man. And to our listeners out there, go check him out. Thank you guys so much for listening as always. And until next time, keep it country and take care of each other.